Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is February, which I cannot believe it. Although I do feel like January just drug on and on and on. I think I've seen some things on social media that talk about February being like 235 days long. Um, so maybe we're glad that it's February. Um, I am. I am excited to be into another month and a whole new offering. That's not what I'm talking about necessarily today. Today I'm going to be talking about just a really simple technique, just using markers. Now you might be like, okay, Sarah, why are we talking about markers? Well, because it's simple, number one, and it's also part of a Celebration join offer. And so I thought I would just highlight that technique as that's a product offering for those that decide to join the Stampin' Up! Community this month. It's always a good time to join the Stampin' Up! Community, but this month in particular, with Celebration, there's some added benefits and perks to doing so. So grab a friend and join the Stampin' Up! Community. That's my request or ask or offer. How about that? All right, let's flip this camera around and get started because I think you're going to love the simplicity of this technique. All right, so the offer that I'm talking about in terms of Celebration is actually in the Celebration brochure. If you haven't seen this, you should. You get free product with a qualified purchase, which is awesome. Actually, let me squish this in. There you go, so you can see it a little closer. Okay, so Celebration's a great promotion, but if you decide that you'd like to be part of the Stampin' Up! Community of creative friends that love to get together, a lot of them actually do love to get together. It's one of my favorite things about our community, that we stamp together and create friendships and community. This is the option. You have option one when you join. You can get this Handmade Designs stamp set and then a couple of different marker packets, whether brights, neutrals, regals, or subtles. So that's kind of nice. It's huge value here. Or another option, you just get additional $30, at least in the US, in free products. So you've got a value add and then you've got additional product, which is fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about using the markers. So I'm actually going to show you, actually I'm not going to show you the card. I think I'm just going to start and make a card. So that I can talk a little bit about that, about using markers and how cool they are. So this is the Sending Love stamp set. I chose a cling stamp set because I feel like at this point markers work a little bit better with the cling stamp sets. And so I love this one because I just like to send happy mail to people, and who wouldn't want to get some happy mail in their post office box. So I've got this stamp set that I'm using, and I've pulled a couple of different colors and I'm using some Designer Series paper. Now many of you know that I love a 4-step card, so I'm not breaking with that strategy. I'm going to use some 6x6 Designer Series paper for the base of the card. A 4-step card for me is you've got a card base, a piece of Designer Series paper, or some decorative element, and then you do a sentiment and sometimes accessorize that card at the end. So that's the 4 steps. But for this one, I'm going to use this Designer Series paper. This is the Shades and Hues Designer Series paper. It's reminiscent of another pack that we had, but we recolored it, and so there are lots of different options in this Designer Series paper pack. They're 6x6, and I have it on good authority that we have a lot of this Designer Series paper, so feel free to love on it a little bit. But I'm going to trim off the bottom strip and use it somewhere else as I create card fronts. I'm just maximizing my paper usage, so I'll just cut off that bottom part. Oh, I didn't get all of it. Hold on. Okay, I don't want to see that bottom stripe. Okay, so I've got this, and then I want to create 2 card fronts. So I'm just going to cut this in half. If it's 6 inches wide, then I'm going to go 3 inches down the center. And that will give me 2 card fronts. So I'll be able to make 2. just right here. Now, if you don't love this not being even, you can trim yours up however you'd like, but I liked seeing the 4 different hues on this Designer Series paper pack. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of an element behind here. A little tone on tone. This is Pool Party with this kind of swoosh across that postage look right here. And the question is, do I need to double stamp this or not? Like, oh, what did I do before? I have to remember. I think it will be fine either way, but I'm just going to see how dark this stamps. Oh, I think I might want to double stamp that. I'm glad I checked. I just barely want it to show up. There we go. Okay, so once I've done that, I've got kind of the background to my card right here. And then I'm going to take some of these markers. I'm using, get these around here so you can see it. I'm using Blueberry Bushel and Calypso Coral. And I'm just going to take this little note. It says, I miss you. A little note to say, kind of at the top and the bottom. So love that. So there are some people I can think of that I am missing right now, some friends that maybe I'll send this to. Now when you're using a marker, if you've never used a marker on your stamps before, I just like to angle my marker almost at a 45-degree angle when I'm coloring my stamp, so that that brush tip hits the level of the stamp. Okay, so this is Blueberry Bushel. And then on the inside, I'm going to do, by the way, here's a tip that I didn't learn for a very long time. So this little stripe on the end is the thin side, and then this wider stripe on the end indicates the brush tip. I just sometimes don't pay attention or remember that I know that. All right, so we'll color the I Miss You. Okay, and then because that ink has been colored on there, I'm just going to use a little bit of a hot breath and breathe on it. So you get that two-tone without it being two different stamps. And then I'll just use a 1 3/4 inch punch to punch that out. And then use some dimensionals to pop that up on my card, my 4-step card. And I'm going to put it right over the top of that swoosh. Just a little bit in the background. So that creates my card front just like this. You can hear that. Where's some adhesive? If I'm going to make a card, I might as well make it. If you have any questions or thoughts or ideas, please share them in the comments. So I'm going to be able to get 2 cards out of this one sheet of Designer Series paper. So if we've got, can you see that? And you could add some bling if you want. But really simple and straightforward. Now, this is cute just as is, but I'm going to show you what's going to make it even cuter. We've got this striped kind of old-fashioned retro envelope. Do you remember getting envelopes like this where it had like the alternating color on the bottom? I thought I would do that with the markers as well. I am starting this time with the lighter of the 2 colors, and we're just going to alternate them across the bottom. I feel like this is the cutest part of the card. Wait till you see. Okay, again. A little bit of breath on there. And then stamp it across the bottom of the envelope so that you get this really cute kind of postage looking card and envelope. Like, this just makes the whole thing. It just brings it all together, I think. And so this card is ready to go for someone that I am missing. So don't forget to write messages, heartfelt messages on your cards and send them. Sometimes we make cards and then we tuck them away, which is also fine for another day or for when we need them. But don't forget to send someone a message. Let them know that you're thinking about them, that you care for them. It makes a difference for them. And sometimes writing that card makes a difference for you. Okay. What do we think? Abby, any comments or questions?
People love this simple project. Debbie says, thank you for the tips about the markers. I never noticed the
Like,
thin
who
line.
knew, right? Kind of that wider stripe and the thinner stripe.
Friday is actually send a card to a friend day. So it's perfect.
Perfect! Okay, so get all of those cards out that you've made and stashed. It's time to send some friends some cards. Oh, and Valentine's is coming too. Yes, don't forget to send some of those Valentines as well. Maybe, I know when I send Shelby, our daughter, she is serving a church mission, and when I send her cards, I use a little punch and I punch out little hearts or confetti and I put it inside the card like they're little hugs that I'm sending to her across the miles. So have some fun with that. The stamp set that I'm using is Sending Love. So it's good all occasion. We've got a little love from me to you. I miss you, welcome friend. You could also incorporate any other sentiments into this as well, if you're doing happy birthday or thinking of you or whatever the case may be. So this one says sent with love, so that's super cute. It has some hearts. So you could even use this in a different color scheme for Valentine's Day, because you're sending love for Valentine's Day. I saw a question about photopolymer stamps. Yes, markering with photopolymer stamps will work. The more solid the image, the more you're going to see that. I feel like the rubber holds it a little bit better, but you can do that. I recommend a markering technique more on line art stamp sets, or if you're coloring different portions or smaller pieces. Maybe you have a floral that you're going to color the stem and then the flower is a different color. So just play with it and see how you like to use this technique best. I mean, we've gotten so used to two-step stamping that I love having the stem and the flower or something different with an ink pad, but you can still use markers. It does still work, but I do feel like the cling works better for the overall than photopolymer. So, all right.
We had a question about how do you clean the stamps after you use the markers?
Oh, great question. So you just clean your stamp the way you normally would, whether you have a chamois or a wet cloth, and it will just come right off. It'll just clean up very nicely because these markers are water-based, and so you can blend them as well. So you can add water with a painter or a paintbrush or spritz it, and it will blend just like your ink pads will. So great question. All right, simple and easy and straightforward. Don't forget to break out some of your cards and send them off to some friends this week as, what day is that?
On Friday.
Friday. Friday is
The 7th.
Send a card. You got to send a card and brighten someone's day with that happy mail that's going to show up in their mailbox. And the paper, I promise, I don't have the full stack of paper right here with me, but it's beautiful paper. So it's, Shades and Hues. You're going to look up Shades and Hues. We'll link it so that you can click on it and take advantage of that offer, because I love, love, love the hues that show up in that designer series paper. And the way that we cut it with note cards, you can get like double, right? Double the card fronts. So really simple and easy 4-step card markering technique that sometimes I think we forget about. But let me know what you do with this technique or what you do with the designer series paper. Take a picture, drop it in the comments. Let us see your creativity at work. I know we can all benefit from that. And be sure and share this technique with those that you want to try it with, right? Stamping and creating is way more fun together. All right, everyone. Until next time, see you soon.